Hey there, and thanks for joining me for another First Five. So something about me that you may or may not know is that I love Hallmark movies. I know, the plot's always the same, they're so predictable, yada, yada, yada. I get it, I hear it from my husband all the time, even though I think secretly, deep down somewhere, he has a soft spot for these movies too. But let's be real, I'm not watching these shows for their action-packed, suspenseful storylines. I just really like them because I know I can count on them for a good ending. I just know I won't be sad at the end. But today we take a look at the last chapter of the book of Mark, chapter 16. And when I think about endings, this isn't exactly Hallmarky. Let's take a look at what it says. It says, when the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go and anoint Jesus' body. Very early on the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they were on their way to the tomb, and they asked each other, "Who will roll the stone away from the entrance of the tomb?" But when they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had been rolled away. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe sitting at the right side, and they were alarmed. "Don't be alarmed," he said. "You are looking for Jesus the Nazarene, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him? But go, tell his disciples and Peter, he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." Trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. See what I mean? Trembling and bewildered, the women left and didn't say anything to anyone? This doesn't seem like the fairy tale kind of ending that I like. This definitely doesn't seem like good news. People were terrified and not talking about it. So lots of scholars and theologians would agree that Mark's original ending has somehow been left off, probably by accident, but nonetheless, it was torn off or lost. And so this is what we're left with. Not that clean kind of ending that maybe we were hoping for. We do get a little bit more of the story here as the chapter continues, but again, many theologians would argue that this ending was added on later and wasn't really Mark's writing. But let's pretend for a minute that this is the end. The story is left here with an empty tomb, the news that Jesus has risen, and a few shocked women with the directive to go share this news with the disciples. Let's say that's what we have. So what do we do with this? Well, for one, it makes me wonder about the faith of the early church. These are people that witnessed firsthand the miracles that Jesus performed, raising people from the dead, feeding thousands with just a couple fish and bread. And it goes on. They saw him put to death on a cross and knew that a huge stone covered his tomb. They saw these things. Jesus even told them that it was going to happen, and still they were shocked. They couldn't believe it actually happened. Now, what would this mean for us? Like the woman at the tomb, they're in awe of the news that Jesus is alive. Do we walk away from hearing that news in awe and left speechless? Do we not just celebrate this fact on Easter Sunday, but do we stop to think that Jesus rose on that day thousands of years ago and is still alive today and every day? So maybe this is the way that Mark ends. But what if this is just the beginning for us? Jesus is alive, and that is good news. And this is where our stories begin, with a risen Savior who defeated the grave and says, "I'm alive, have faith in this, and now go tell people." This isn't the ending. This is our beginning. So as we go off today, let's share the good news of Jesus by sharing our stories of how Jesus is alive and is at work in our lives. It's good news, great news. So let's tell the world. Have a great day.